there. Thanks a lot for coming by. PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and today it's Duane Eddy, king of the twang guitar. In 1959, right at the start of his career, and the year that he charted 7 songs on Billboard magazine's Hot 100 singles chart. And that included the top 10 hit, 40 Miles of Bad Road, which was actually in the nation's top 10 right now at the time of this show, and it's on the poster right above his name, so that's pretty cool. Now, you might recognize this style if you're a poster collector as that of Tilghman Poster Company out of Oakland, California, formerly called Tilghman Press, and they did concert posters for, the Pacific Northwest down to generally the Bay Area of California, but sometimes beyond that. Well, this one was done for a roller rink in Canada in the summer of 1959. So without further ado, let's take it in and take this baby from the top. And this was a tour blank, by the way, as you know Tilghman loved to do very efficiently. So at the end of this video, I will show you a poster from the very next night, and the actual poster, not just a picture. So there you have Rollerway, located at Edmonds and 8th, in South Vernaby, British Columbia. Well, that's fine, unless you happen to live in the area and you're groaning and rolling your eyes. I mean, you talk about typos. This is such a classic instance of information being given over the telephone, I'm sure. Not only is this pre-internet, heck, this is pre-faxes and Twixes and even FedEx. I mean, there was no fast way to get written word around, so things were probably always booked and covered by the phone. And, boy, it's just crazy, though, when the city is gotten wrong. Not just misspelled, but when it's the first letter. So instead of South Vernaby, what you really should have had is South Burnaby, B-U-R-N-A-B-Y, and a suburb of Vancouver, British Columbia. So, oh man, that's just flat out embarrassing. And the street Edmonds is spelled wrong too, but of course much less consequential. But you got to remember, this dance was for teenagers, the posters were made for teenagers, and they could pretty much care less about spelling, although they had to laugh when the city was gotten wrong. But I said always twice. I always like to point out that these darn things were created to exist for about 6 weeks and then be thrown away after the shows. So, they probably just didn't want to run the whole thing again because they were going to be tossed so soon. Okay, so you got Thursday, August 13th from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Big show and dance, 2 bands. So they opted to not put ticket prices, interestingly, on this poster. And then you've got the permanent color portion of the poster, all yellow and black with maybe a little bit of red at the top, bleeding down there from the venue print up there. And there's Dwayne right by my hand, a great picture of him playing his guitar, really nice, his twangy guitar. And it does say, as you can see, "And the Rebels." And you've got a generous half a dozen song titles scattered nicely throughout the poster. So I'm going to get in just a tad closer here and make this easier for you to see. Now, I've already covered the song 40 Miles of Bad Road, and that's above the word Dwayne there. And that's in the upper right. So in the upper left you have Cannonball, and that was Dwayne's top 20 hit from the previous fall. And below Cannonball, I should say below the guitar neck there actually, you've got Loving You. Well, that's the Leiber and Stoller song that Elvis made big a couple of years earlier in '57. It's one thing about doing instrumentals, you can cover them and not have to worry about competing with Elvis's voice or something. It's the melody that you're really conveying. By the way, Loving You was also the closing track on Dwayne's first album, Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel, from earlier in the year. And then under Dwayne's knees there you have Detour, a famous song that had a longer title. After that it would say There's a Muddy Road Ahead. And that was a western swing ballad. That was a big hit ages ago for Spade Cooley and then Patti Page. Then you've got Lonesome Road, that's there under the E in Eddy there, as you can see, and that was a classic song dating back to the 1920s, and has been recorded by everybody from Bing Crosby to Joan Baez to Stevie Wonder. And that was the opening track on his album Have Twangy Guitar Will Travel. And then, interestingly, under Eddy, centered there, it says Twangy Guitar. Now that looks like a song title, but you know, that's just a descriptor for him. So the typesetter at Tilghman really should have put that in a different type font to make that clear. And then the last song, The Quiet Three, was the B-side to the big current hit 40 Miles of Bad Road. Now the second band on the poster, as I slide that up for you there, well, they only have about perhaps 1% of Dwayne's wattage, but there they are, the Teen Kings. Of course, they were local. They were from the Portland area, so they had a draw up there in the Pacific Northwest, hopefully. And the Teen Kings, not to be confused with Roy Orbison's group of the same name. In fact, probably heck in the late 50s, there may have been Teen Kings bands scattered all over the country. So they recorded one single for Drift Records, and that is mentioned on the poster along with the A and the B side. One source I saw said the record was actually never released, but I'm sure 45 RPM record collectors know all about that. And at the bottom of the poster, seemingly a bit incongruously, is TV star Lavern Myllicent, but I've already covered her on another Tilghman poster, Johnny Cash from 1961 in Eugene, Oregon. So, really a fun piece, and as promised though, I do have, let's see, another one of these that Tilghman made for the very next night. So here we've got Thursday, August 13th, and that slides right over into Friday, August 14th. There you go, the Division Street Corral down south from Canada, of course, in Portland, Oregon. And then the other two lines of the venue box, naturally, are identical to the one I just showed you. So, man, nice to have a couple of posters on consecutive nights, especially from the 1950s, and for such a respected guitar god, one of the first in rock and roll, in Duane Eddy. So, great fun stuff. Really nice to show you. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot for your time today, and we'll see you again for something soon. Bye-bye.